Country roads take me home to a place I belong, West Virginia. Mountain mama, take me home.
Take
country
me
home. Roads.
Nuno. Thank you, man.
No problem. My son loves that.
Has
He's like
he?
3 years
He
old.
loves that song?
He goes nuts.
How
in the
did he
car.
first hear it? Like from you?
I don't know. I just started playing it. Like we go for like long drives, like we go to Muskoka or whatever, and I just throw it on, just
and
like
that's
for
his.
the ambience.
That's his song. That's his go-to song.
Oh yeah, it's like his go. Like he loves it.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's an iconic song for sure.
It's a great song, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
I know we chatted a long time ago, and you were a little hesitant about coming on. And I was like, "Come on, man, we'll just talk about construction."
Yeah. Awesome, man.
And then off mic, we're just walking in. You're telling me, "Oh, I've been up since 5, and I just got off a roof." And I'm like, "That's the epitome of the construction life, right there."
Yeah.
So it is. So welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks.
We got a lot to talk about. You're a roofer first, and then agent second, or agent?
Yeah, I would say roofer first. I used to be agent first, and then kind of went roofer like part time.
Are you dabbling in just both right now, just to see?
I do dabble, but I do more like roofing
on the roofing, right?
Yeah, more roofing contracting, and
then
realtor is more helpful friends, family members.
Just for your own personal, you were curious about that segment of the industry, kind of thing. You were wanting to do that.
So like I have a brother who's in real estate, and then he was doing really well with it as well. So like I was just looking for a job just to make some income on the side or whatever. Nice. And then I just got into it, and I was making okay living, but it wasn't enough. I think as doing full time, I kind of saw like, hey, this type of lifestyle is more of like a secondary lifestyle. It's like a side hustle more at that point, where roofing was, I grew up in roofing. Like I've been doing roofing since I'm like 8 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like cleaning garbage for my old man. Like, yeah. So it's like a family business, me and my old man. And
it's just not the two of you guys. There's a crew, right?
No, it's just the two of us.
Why, are you serious?
Yeah.
Old school.
Old school.
That's the way he taught you?
Tradesmen. We even hand nail all our roofs.
I know, and I want to talk to you guys, but I know why you do that. And I have respect for that, because I know a lot of the kids will just not pay attention to that nail. They'll just pay attention to the sound that nail gun is doing, and is it really nailing that shingle properly?
Yeah. So like the thing with that, it's all speed, right?
Yeah.
I call it like just cowboys just go, who's the quickest? Or like back in the day, people would go like up to the top and they would put their nail after they finish a bundle, and it's like who's got the most nails on the top of the roof, subdivisions and stuff like that. But for us, we kind of built a brand, family business, like we're the face to the business. And then when we get the callbacks, very rare. When we do, nothing more embarrassing to come back to your own job any issues. But, so we just like OCD, we get into our stuff, like stuff that like we do so many repairs and little issues that we're fixing, that when we do our jobs, we already see those little things.
What's going to happen on...
If you do it like this, it's going to prevent that from possibly happening.
Are you guys the only ones? As far as I know, are you the only one that's hand nailing?
I don't know. Like I met with a rep, and the rep told me that like 4%. This is like back like 8 years ago. 4% of companies do it.
Hand nail.
Yeah, hand nail, and then the rest do it. So
pneumatics.
I don't care how they do it. Like.
It's the end product. It's the job at the end.
I think like if you're doing like woodwork and you're using a nail gun, okay, that's fine. It's wood, right? Like, but it's like a flimsy piece of shingle. Like you got to make sure that thing is flush, because if you arc it or you overdrive it or you underdrive it, expansion and contraction, construction, right?
It defeats the purpose of the shingle.
Exactly.
The shingle's going to fail eventually at that point.
Yeah. But guys, they care about the money, right? Like,
We're getting way ahead of ourselves. A couple of shout outs, first of all, to begin with. Heavy Duty Homes is the t-shirt I'm wearing today. Phil and the boys there, great guys. And then I want to thank you for the bottle of vino here. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah. I like that a lot, man. I encourage anybody to bring me alcohol. We have our liquor license to do the show, so it's like we don't need a liquor license. Nuno, so Luso Roofing is what we want to talk about. Family-owned business, 25 years?
I've been doing roofing for 25 years, so since 1998, 1997.
Wow, so you've seen it change quite a bit, and obviously the old man has seen it change quite a bit as well, too, right?
A lot of changes in products and stuff.
And then also you work for Sutton Group, but you're basically a roofing manager. www.lusoroofing.com, info@lusoroofing.com, and all you Canadians out there, it's spelled Luso. Just in case. I'm not saying that they don't know how we talk or anything like that or how we spell. And then your email is ntorres@Royal LePages for the other one, right?
Oh, sorry. It's sudden.com. I made a mistake.
Oh, .com? Okay, .com there. Okay, so cool there. And on Facebook and Instagram, Luso, you'll find them, Luso_roofing on both of them. All right. So I want to chat about... What did your dad teach you at the very beginning? You're a kid and you come on the job site, and what's he showing you at the very beginning there? How's he presenting the construction industry to you?
So one of the first things, like what he taught me was just like anybody works in construction, you start cleaning, right?
Yeah.
Like, throws the shingles on the floor. Yeah. Bring the shingles. So even when I was like 13, 15, 18 years old, lugging like bundles on the ladder, like old school, no harness, and like bringing like
no lift.
Because when we first started, like, even
they didn't have
they still probably had, but like when we first started, like my dad was like more of when he first started, it was like a weekend warrior kind of guy.
Yeah.
And like that's how they did it, right? They worked for the big commercial, the big Viennas, all these big guys, and then I would work with them on weekends or when we're done early from school. I got a repair. You want to come and help me hold the ladder or whatever? And
so put the books down and come over here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So the way we learned was I didn't learn like really installing, doing all the intricacies like growing up, but it was just more, hey, I just want to make some money. Work hard or whatever, and that's what he taught was like the work ethic, and just like we weren't the type that would just sit back and like collect, right? We're just like, the more you put out, the more you're gonna get, right? So
I guess he understood that if you've got a clean job site, an organized job site, that means that you got an efficient job site, which basically means you work better, you work smarter, you work less harder, and then you achieve the goal, which is basically providing a great service, a great product at the end of it, right?
Yeah. And I think the biggest part was the pride in what you did. Like, I kind of said, like, for a painter, I know some painters, when they paint, they also like, they put a brand new light bulb to show off their work, right?
Yeah.
Like he was very meticulous. Like to be in an industry where everybody uses nail guns and to kind of say like, hey, I've used nail guns, and I've had friends call me over, like, Nuno, come over, just have to watch, okay, and whatever, and like do this stuff, and they're there with their nail guns. I'm like, I try it, I'm like, wow, bro, this is horrible. Like it's coming out crooked and stuff. I'm like, just let me use my hatchet, right? And then I remember once working with a friend, right? Like we're all buddies. Like some are in commercial roofing. Like everybody's been in roofing, but they're not like, residential or whatever, like flat roofers doing residential work, right?
There's a line.
Yeah, there's a difference in the industry. And then, like when you put a shingle, when you put like, when you nail on the shingle line, it's got to be on the line. Like you don't put it above. And I tell my friends like, yo, you're supposed to put it on the line. And
what is it?
It's supposed to be on the tar.
Why do they decide that it's not supposed to be on the line? Who tells them that it's either ahead or below, or like, I don't understand.
Apparently, and I'm not going to call out names.
No, of course.
I'm saying, like, my friend was like, oh, over there, it's like, it looks like asphalt. So it's like, whatever. So the problem is like, he's not nailing on the line. So he's not catching the shingle underneath. And I'm telling him, so you know how Portuguese people do it, right?
Yeah,
At the end of the day, I'm not gonna. It's my friends call me over. We're having Portuguese chicken, a little bit of vinho, right? And we're talking, and then I said to my friend, I'm just like, his name's not Mike, but I'm like, hey Mike, like, you know these shingles are gonna fly next windstorm comes. So a crazy windstorm comes, my phone blows up, right?
And that's
like
exactly what happens, man.
200 calls throughout the night. Okay. And I messaged my buddy, his name's like, we can say my friend. My friend, his nickname is Skinny. I'm like, Skinny, check your roof out because.
And sure enough.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, all my shingles flew off. Yeah, he's like, all my shingles flew off.
So did he learn his lesson? Did he understand? Did he ask you that, okay, show me how to use the hatchet?
No. So this is what happened. He was like the owner, right?
Okay.
And he was friends with my other friend, right? Who was doing it his way, right? Which was trying to help him out, right? In the end of the day, right?
Of course.
And then he's like, oh, my friend Mike said, don't mention anything to Nuno that all my shingles. And then I met with him like a while back ago. I'm like, oh, your shingles flew up. And he told me that you shouldn't tell me and all this stuff. So
did he not admit fault? Like, did he not finally have?
He did admit it after.
Finally.
Like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you're right.
You had to, man.
Yeah.
It's too easy with, I get his speed, but I mean, the roof is supposed to last what? Minimum 20, 25.
Yeah.
Depending on exposure and all this other stuff.
Exactly.
Why do you want to install it incorrectly and all of a sudden it starts to have problems after a few years? Let alone that. What if we do get and we've had it recently. We've had a lot of windstorms, man.
Yeah.
And you see those things flap, man. Like just flapping.
And like with all the major weather events and stuff, even on Netflix, I've been watching lately a new special. Like I don't really watch Netflix all the time and shows, but there's one on major wind events like tornadoes and stuff. It's really good. And it's about like all these climate change, how the warm air comes. And I'm like, it's warm right now in this November, right?
It's been crazy this weather.
Yeah.
I know. We're going to get a storm. Something's going to happen. And it's weird wind at that point, right?
Yeah.
And if the roof hasn't, or I guess if the actual tar tabs haven't actually adhere, it hasn't been warm enough or whatever, if the shingles are brittle, and you get wind and it just hits it at a certain angle.
You're getting into another conversation, which is like installing shingles when it's cold, right?
Oh,
like we don't do it. And a lot of people do it, right?
You might as well be installing Carhartts, you know what I mean? Like it's just, they're so rigid. Yeah. It's almost like cardboard, and you can't and also when you cut, you tell me, I mean, when you try to cut it's so hard, right? Yeah. So you can't do it in the dead of winter, but you got to keep guys busy. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and that's why I say, like, I don't knock. Like, we have a philosophy of way of doing things, and other people run businesses. Like, they have salespeople. Yeah. They run. There's a lot
volume.
There's a lot of great companies out there, and then there's other guys that are just like they're tradesmen. They're not a business. They kind of run it like a business, but they're more like on the sole proprietorship way of things. And they're content with that. Like they don't mind making whatever certain amount of money at the end of the year, right? Like just to be comfortable, and then invest their money in something else, in real estate or whatever, and just have passive income. But they know when they do their job or their vocation, they're helping people and they're doing great work, right?
Do the pneumatic guys look at you guys, you and your dad go up on site, and all of a sudden
like we're Amish?
Yeah, I was just exact. I was like, here come the horse and buggy guys. You know what I mean? Because you're doing a hammer and nail. But how much longer are you taking to do your roof versus a pneumatic team?
It's
twice.
I think it's longer for sure. I can't judge if it's double or triple.
Okay.
I don't even look at that, but like I think just the quality, like not getting called back, it's just worth it. But sometimes I get called backs from people that we gave like a price to, and they're like, you're very expensive. And I try to tell them, like, we take our time, everything that we do, we overkill. Like we put ice and water shield, 3 feet like anybody else. But do you ever hear about people putting ice and water shield under the valley?
The valleys.
Metal valley.
Not everybody does that.
And then 3 feet along the sides of the valleys as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people.
That guarantees you. So even if that valley starts to fail, or even those shingles near that valley starts to fail, it guarantees that you won't get water penetration. That's just guaranteed. That's because it's
winter. Yeah, it's Toronto, right? Like it's
You're getting ice
Canadian
damming.
one.
You can get water going right, and then you try to explain that to homeowners where it's like, yeah, the ice goes up the roof. What do you mean it goes up the roof? It's called gravity. No, it's called ice damming. It goes up because your house, your attic is warm. It starts to melt it, and now it starts to cool it, and it literally moves the ice. And if that shingle is not properly installed, it goes underneath it. You don't have ice and water shield, it goes on your ply, your sheathing. And so it's
ice and water shield, as you know, like you're a construction guy. Ice and water shield is a secondary protector. Yes. But it's the best that you can do with when you're doing the roof.
Yes.
Because you know it's venting, it's intake, exhaust.
Yeah.
There's a lot of components.
It's worth it to do that. Especially, I mean, if you're doing certain homes, and the sheathing is not strong enough because they're using the lowest grade possible. Yeah. And I get frustrated when roofing needs to be a certain cost. I don't understand how homeowners would actually turn around and go, give me the cheapest, fastest, and simplest roof I want. You have everything that you've invested into that home underneath that roof. Yeah. Everything, your furnishings, your family, your everything. And you want to go the cheapest and fastest crew? That makes no sense. Come on.
Yeah. And we find a lot of things. I don't know if I know you have other roofing friends.
Yeah.
And, you know, they probably talk.
Associates.
And I know that there's like they probably tell you there's certain roofing ethnicities and stuff like that they're a lot doing like half the price of what other people do.
That I don't understand how that's possible, but I guess it's just the workforce that you have or how you run the ship, or there's corners being cut.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking on the tabs of the asphalt shingles, right? Yeah. There's certain things that are being missed or not done or properly. Mm-hmm. And that's the funny thing is that I have yet to meet even one last big job that I did. We set up for the client to get upstairs to look at the roof and everything. It was a flat roof application. And as he was climbing up the ladder on the second floor, this was just a 10-foot ladder. He got nervous after the second or third step, and he's like, no, I'm not going to go up. He goes, Manny, can you go up and just shoot a video for me? I was like, sure, I'll go up, no problem. And I went up and I shot a video, and he signed off on it. But a lot of the times, homeowners don't go on the roof. They won't look at it. They won't peek at it.
Yeah.
It gives certain roofing companies an opportunity to maybe not do everything properly because they think that they won't go up there and take a look at it. But I think homeowners should try to. Yeah. Find the kid who's got no fears of height or whatever, and just get them, stay away from the edge and whatever, but at least go down the roof and then take a look at the work.
Yeah, just get your own ladder. I always recommend that. Like, don't try to use like a roofer's ladder. Like, I get customers and I say, just get your own ladder. Just don't go in ours because of insurance purposes.
Yeah. Right? Your responsibility at that point. Yeah,
check it out. Right.
For sure.
I even sometimes tell, like, I was in Mississauga the other day, and he was he did waterproofing at my place, right? Nice guy. He's in my rental property. He's done phenomenal work. And when I'm very, I don't know about you, Manny, but I'm very like when contractors do work at my place, I'm very like visual. Like I want to see what they're doing. Yeah. I'm paying. I want to see what you're doing because there's a lot of people that cut corners.
I'll show up at popcorn. And I'll just start. I'm like, this is entertainment to me, man. I love watching this. Doesn't matter what trade it is. I'll watch it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So I told them, like, come up on the roof. I want to show you what I'm doing. He's having issues with condensation. Put a maxi vent and whatever. Washer vent's not connected. We connect it. And I just tell him, come up on the roof. See it. I want you to see what we do, how it looks. Yes. And he's like, yeah, I'll go take a look. But sometimes some clients, I'm not comfortable. Like one guy, he went on the roof. He wants to see what we're doing because he had blown shingles and we fixed it. And then he had other leak issues unrelated to what we fixed. And he's like, I paid you this certain amount of money. So the next time he comes onto the roof, like he goes on our ladder with our permit. He goes up there.
He's breaking all these rules.
No, it's fine. But he got up there. Yeah. But he couldn't get back down. Like,
he got afraid of that first step back off the roof, right?
Yeah.
That's always a little bit of a doozy one.
It's always once they get up, it's a little bit tougher.
Because they're not looking behind them when they're getting up. That's why.
And then I always like kind of like if they do that, I'm just saying, are you comfortable with coming back down too? And then when they say, okay, sure.
Okay, so you guys must get, who still sells roofing nails in bulk? The suppliers still do that, right?
Yeah, like any
it's regular. Not coils, but I mean coils. They're being sold more, right? That's all.
I'm assuming they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm figuring.
But they sell roofing nails all the time, like IHL, roofing suppliers.
Yeah.
So,
what kind of hammer you guys swinging?
So my old man, he has a East Wing.
That's what I was about to say.
15 years, like
it has
20 years. The thing is like,
Yes.
The thing's on a like angle like this.
Yeah.
It like goes with the pitch of the roof. Like I try to hit it, and I'm used to a normal one. It's like with the pitch, so it's hilarious.
You should show it to them and then tell them make it already in this angle,
Like
so it's
this
all
angle,
good to go, man. Yeah,
hilarious.
I know.
And then me, I have different I'm just a nerd, right? So I have different ones. So I don't know if you ever heard of the AGC magnetic head.
No.
So it's like it has a magnet on it and it's a hatchet as well. And then it has a blade on the side too if you want to use it. So you can cut like synthetic.
Yeah.
If you want to use that. It's also got, your gauge when you want to do your step, right? Like let's say 6 inches or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then it's also got the meg. So like let's say I know some people, they say you should put cat nails, but we do like just regular hand nails to put the synthetic down or ice and water. So it's just like you put it there and they're like boom, boom, boom.
And it always sticks?
Yeah, it just sticks. It's like magnetic. Unless it gets a little bit of like the grains from the asphalt.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. Or
so even but it's always sticks and it's fast. It's just like dish, dish. And then I see this old like Italian guy looking at me. Wow, this guy's so fast. Like I'm really not that fast. It's just the magnetic.
He's just faster than what a normal person would be.
You know what is good exactly, but like we're fast.
Yeah.
We're not those guys that you see on those Mexicans in Texas and boom, 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 boom. Right, but we're not like that. But we're pretty quick. But like with what I like about the magnetic hatchet is like when you have to overextend. You know when you have to put the nail down and then you have to hit it.
It's already
there, and you just like tap it and then hit it.
That's actually clever. So
it's like easier on your body, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was like,
then you got a hold, and you're contorting a certain way just to get the hold, and then all of a sudden hit it. And then if it misses or if it goes on an angle or something like that, then you got to fight it back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's too funny, man. So your dad's been doing it for how long now? He got started in roofing.
85,
huh?
But my dad's been. It's funny because my dad. He started we're from Portugal, right? Back in the day, from the north.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he failed grade 1 like 4 times. And it wasn't because he didn't want to learn. It's just he had to work.
Yeah.
Like he just missed so many days because he was working, right? Like they were poor, right?
Yeah.
And he grew up in construction from like 8 years old.
It's a different time. It's a different time, man.
It was in like Saudi Arabia. Then he went to jail, and they were like whipping it. Like this he has stories. It's hilarious.
But he made a life for the family and brought everybody here and did everything right and worked
him
hard.
And my mom, they're just workers. They're just workers. They just work hard.
So why is it that he went to he just loved roofing out of all the trades? It just went to it.
No, I think I asked him this question. He said that just the money's good.
That's
the reason why he went into roofing, because he tried bricklaying, but he said it was tough. Like to be a laborer in the winter, because roofing you have to
tent. You're on the outside. You're in and out of the cold, hot. You're mixing.
Then if you're
blowtorching the sand to break up the frost.
It's tough.
I know it's hard.
And if you're like the labor for like 5 guys and they're all waiting for you,
stress.
Old school Portuguese way, you know how it is.
You're
right?
getting razzed, man. You're getting seriously razzed.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. But that doesn't happen these days anymore.
Not
does
anymore.
It? I don't think I've seen. I've seen it with some of the Italian guys. I've even seen it with the Irish guys. They do a lot of razzing going on, right? In the brickies, it still goes on that way, right? But not to the extent where shovels are being thrown. Trowels are being thrown.
It's different. Yeah.
It's a different mindset. So you get into it and then you get hustling, and he just teaches you the same principles.
Yeah. He like, I like to say this, he taught me the blueprint, and I'm just kind of like, I'm introducing now stuff to him in different ways because I'm getting into different things.
Yeah.
And I know you
come closer to the mic. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
And I know you asked me like what would be another trade? Like carpentry is another trade that I would be interested in, because if I were to go back and redo everything, carpentry is just like the measurements, the angles, like it's like it's like the trade to get into building. Like it's like your foundation, right? So I think when I started picking up on all those things and watching YouTube videos, and I watch all these builders, I don't know if you watch Perkin Building Brothers. I don't know if you never see. You don't.
I've heard of it, but I don't watch it.
They're really good. They're entertaining me.
Where are they out of?
North Carolina, I think.
Yeah.
Charleston, around there.
Timber framers or rough carpenters?
No, they're just like carpet builders but first carpenters.
Yeah.
And I just watch for fun, and they teach you a lot. Then it like opened my eyes to other stuff, and I was like, wow, like there's like so much other avenues that you learn, right?
I love that there's a lot of trades that do go on social like YouTube and whatever, and they share so much, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll give up so much that you can pay attention and get a real good idea of it, and then get on the site and you're kind of book smarts at that point, and then you can kind of start putting A and B together, right?
And then you just like you problem solve, like before you wouldn't problem solve, now you see things in a different way.
Yeah. And
you understand things in a different way. Like back in the day, I wouldn't really know the measurements. I would just do it. Whereas now you know like the littlest 1/16 or whatever. Like I know it sounds so normal to you, but for other people in different industries, because roofing, there's no school for roofing.
No, there isn't, and there's no inspection for roofing. There's a bunch of stuff that is not applicable, and I think that there should be, but that's just going to increase costs and increase a bunch of stuff on top of that, right?
Yeah.
I used to have a place at St. Clair and Dufferin, and I remember when I was walking around the neighborhood just there on Louder there, just north of St. Clair.
Yeah, I know.
And I was walking around the neighborhood one day, and I was watching these guys install, but funny enough, by hand, green 3-tab shingles. And I'm just standing there going, they still make green 3-tab shingles?
The light green ones or the dark ones?
Dark greens, one. And I'm like, they got to be Portuguese or they got to be Italian, one or the other, right? Because there's nobody who selects dark green 3-tab shingles. And I'm assuming that you could order them if you wanted that they're still manufacturing those things, right?
DNC's roofing supplies, right? They like have them all the time,
it's
right?
Green 3-tab shingles.
It's so funny because there's so many people that you think like so many people pick them. I don't know why.
They love it. They want it. And they just like, I know that if my dad was still here, he'd be choosing it too. He'd be like, that's the color I want. And I'm like, it's green. I don't understand. Green roof. It doesn't look like moss. It's not like that. It's not cedar shakes that's got moss on it or something. But
hilarious.
I want to talk a little history here. Let me share a little history here. Largest, talking about timber, largest timber structures in the world. Atlas, United States. It was built to test EMP effects for nuclear explosions on large aircraft. 12 stories high, 1,000-foot long wooden structure, could not use nails or bolts due to research, was put together using glue, laminate, and fiberglass pegs. It cost $60 million, and project ended in 1991. It's insane. Spain, a metropole, Parasol. 6 massive mushroom-like structures, 490 by 230 feet, 80 feet tall, made of birch, imported from Finland because of its straight qualities. Ruins from the Roman era were discovered during construction, resulting in, I'm not going to even pronounce that, Antiquary, I don't know, being built under the structure. And then there's Russia, Ki He Pung Ist. She's helpful. She's very helpful putting these things, and I still can't pronounce the phonetic versions that she puts on for me. World's largest standing structure built entirely from wood. 2 churches and a bell tower made of scribe-fitted horizontal logs and corner joinery, all cut using hand axes. It's all old school, man. And the last one is United States, which was the Tillamook Air Museum, barrel-roofed wooden hangar, former military blimp hangar, world's largest clear-span wooden structure, 1,072 feet tall. That's insane, and 300 feet wide. Houses private World War II aircraft collection. Never even knew these places that you could check out. So, Nuno, how is the real estate market these days? Is it funny? Something going funny? Something going fishy?
Definitely something going fishing.
Okay, so something is going fishing. Yeah. So when I'm seeing real estate agents talking about, everything's good, all good, everything's fine, keep buying.
Yeah, so right now, it's kind of going the opposite direction. So like the
it's going somewhere. Going
yeah. So the thing with that, when I look at real estate, I always see the macro, right? Like the bigger picture. And when I always tell people you're buying real estate, for example, think long term, right? Don't think like, the cycles. Obviously, you don't want to buy when the cycle's going down. Like we're on a 6 consecutive hike on the interest rates going up
in 1 year.
Yeah. And so
that's dangerous, man.
It is. I think it's a bit much, especially with the prices, like the house prices the way they are.
Yeah.
I say just run your numbers. Like if it's something that you can't afford, like when you buy that you know you can afford it, you have a secure job, you have a good down payment. Just
for the homeowners that are really stupid, what's the buffer? Like if you can't afford a certain house, don't try to get approvals so close to your buffer that you're going to be in a really bad spot. Because anybody who did that at the start of the year, and then we had 6 hikes with the Bank of Canada, people are paying twice what they were paying at the start of the year. And so you're beyond your buffer at that point, and now you're stuck in this mortgage.
Yeah. And now you're paying off your house, which is not worth as much as you thought it'd be worth, right? So yeah, that's the thing. Like don't overstretch yourself. Sometimes it's like everybody wants to invest. I would recommend people to wait a little bit and see. Like obviously the rates, they're already talking about it going up again.
Yep.
But just be conservative. Like have an emergency fund. Like plan, like recessions, if we do get into recession, maybe we're already in it or in the transition of it. Hold on, like have a plan for like 2-3 years from now. Like get into it. You don't want to buy now and then you lose your value. You want to kind of, when it's time to reverse or get steady, kind of like start investing again, right? But
the bad spot is that everyone thinks get in, flip, do some lipstick here and there, make it look pretty, make it smell nice, and then all of a sudden you try to sell and you can't.
It's hard to sell.
You can't compete on the market because then you're asking for a fixed number that you calculated that you want to make a profit from. Yeah. But unfortunately, that number is higher than what the competition is selling for in the same street. So it's all comparables at that point.
Yeah. And we're in a buyer's market now.
Yeah.
So the problem is back in the day, like you could do that lipstick stuff, right?
Get away with it.
You can get away with it. But now guess what? Buyers got a home inspector.
Yeah.
Got a home inspector now.
So now the rules are all coming back now.
Now it's like, now we're checking out everything. Now it's like, hey, we saw all this stuff. We're getting an abatement for 10, 15,000 below or something. I've heard like even from a roofing client, like they wanted their house inspected by it, their roof inspected by us. They just sold 60,000 below asking price.
Hoping
and then
that
they're
it's
like,
going to be higher.
Oh, like they list it for a certain price. It's sold for 60,000. And then they're kind of even telling me, they're like, you know, they're trying to take advantage of us, you know, in the market. And it's like, hey, like think about, you think they care about you like you thought about them when it was like a home, like a seller's market?
No, they didn't. It wasn't.
So the table has turned for sure.
You just got to be prepared to either weather that storm and hang on to that property for the time being, or be ready to take that loss. That's just how it works. Those are your options on the table now. But if you can't carry it, last thing we want is to be stuck in the situation that the Americans were stuck in 08, right? Yeah. Like when that housing boom just exploded. Yeah. So we don't want that, but that's what it smells like here now, right? Yeah. And we have to be careful.
Yeah, especially here in Vancouver. It's very, very dangerous. And I have a lot of friends in banking. And this is like 8 years ago, like talking to friends, telling me this, like,
this was potentially going to
They're like tellers, like telling me like, no, they're just telling me you don't know how many people they're living, like they have less than $1,000 in their bank account. Like they're just,
so you're too close to the buffer. That's what I mean. Yeah. And I know that they're trying to fight, I guess it's social pressure. Would it be like they're trying to fight where to be living because they want to be associated or next to certain amenities, I guess, in the city, right? So if your heart is dead set and your significant other is dead set on, we have to be in Leslie, we have to be in Queen West, we have to be in all these little communities. You don't have to be anything, man. Like there's no reason for you to do that. Yeah. But they're all trying to, I guess, compete with the Joneses, I suppose, at that point.
Yeah, and I think some people are stretched too. Like a lot of times you see very smart young people and they went to university. I went to university. And they get to that point and then it's hard to get a job or whatever, or they finally do. And then the house prices, when could have bought a house after high school. Like they could have, like they already had their house paid off. Like if they had purchased their house when, I'm 37, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I graduate 2003. If I bought a home, I worked full-time roofing or whatever trade, carpentry, whatever trade is, cement, and I bought a home versus like I took a path. Of like I got into teaching. That's another thing, but we don't need to get into that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What aren't you doing, man?
Yeah. Like I'm always I'm a growth junkie, but let's say we're getting into that. And then some people didn't, they just went to work, purchase a house. And then the person after they're done school, let's say they did school for 7 years. So a house that they could bought for, because before the boom, right? They could have bought for, I remember my neighbors selling their house for like $340. And after I'm done school, the same house is selling for $960, right? And it's like I invested my time into school, into my trade or whatever profession.
Yeah.
And then some people are stuck in that, right? They're finished. They're both educated. They're both making like $100K. Like they work at banks, and then to afford a house in Toronto for 1.2, it's
still
like,
not enough.
Yeah, it's like.
But then they still make it work. They make the numbers work.
Yeah, because they're like, I want to live in the city. My work's here. I don't want to get out because we have great jobs, and we're just like, we'll just see how it goes.
But what happens if things change dramatically?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So hopefully those people, when let's say they bought like a year ago, hopefully they have a secure job and they got a 5-year fixed. Okay. So, and another thing I wanted to get to is funny because I have two places. I have where I live, and then I have my rental property or whatever. So with all this pandemic stuff going on, I was listening to Pierre Polvier talk. Yep. He's interesting. And I'm not. Yeah, so I'm not like a conservative. I'm not liberal. I'm not saying what I am. I'm just common sense. I'm a swing voter.
You're a Portuguese Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. So I heard one time him on YouTube talking, and he was talking to the finance minister of the Liberal government, and he's like, we might get into inflation, right? Like really bad. This is before it even happened. This is like a year ago, right?
He was already talking about that.
He was already talking about it. And he's like, how are you going to curb inflation? You know what the finance minister said?
I could only imagine.
What do you think he said? 6 times in a row, right? The interest rates, we're going to make the interest rates go up
that's not a solution at all.
Yeah.
It's not a solution. It's actually it's a catalyst for worse. That's just like you're adding fuel to a fire at that point.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
So to get to my story, my mortgage on my other property, it was coming up this summer. So my friend Nelson Santos, I'm not trying to like
drop him, man.
Yeah, Nelson Santos from so he just messaged me because he changed banks. He went from CIBC to Scotiabank, right? So he reaches out. He's just trying to make some sales volumes, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like, Nuno, I see here, like he looked into my account, I guess. Whatever, he helped me out, right?
Of course, yeah.
He's like, I see that because I'm already with Scotia. So he just got into Scotia, right? It's not like he was at another place and that's when he's seen it. And he's like, I see you coming up for renewal, and I can renew now, which was in the winter, like December. We can renew now.
How much earlier than the 6 months?
Yeah, like it was probably like June, so it was like before 6 months. Okay. It was before my date.
Okay,
you can lock it in. And I saw Polvier, Pierre talking about it. I'm like, now's the time, right? So I locked it in 5 years at 2.54.
Smart.
What is it now? I don't follow it.
That was a very 100%. That was a very smart move, man.
Yeah.
The majority of people are doing variable.
Yeah,
like gladly doing variable.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are still on variable. Yeah, they just see it like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's a write-off. Like, wow.
What do you think you saved? Do you have a rough idea what you think you made?
I think I'm saving because the interest.
I guess when it was saving, we're talking about you're actually saving
$300 a month.
Yeah, the contribution to the principal is a lot greater than what you would if you were variable. You would have been paying so much more to the interest itself.
Yeah,
that's the difference here versus everybody else. Is you're literally you're like digging dry sand.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's like I mentioned, you brought it up. It's like, why are people getting into that? I think I can't explain that, but I could explain with people that have like fundamentals. You know, you want to invest, you got to think long term, buy and hold. I think that's the best strategy. Then like try to flip, right? Like flipping works, but it's very, very, you got to be very good at what you're doing.
You got to be really quick and in and out. And I think that moment has passed, come and gone.
Yeah.
I don't think, and I don't care what TV shows are saying that this is a great opportunity. You should do this. Here's an income idea, an income opportunity. No, man, it's all done. That's done and dead. It's just that's not what's going in for next year. It can't be, right? So anybody who's trying to do, I know a few guys that kind of said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot. And then they spent a large chunk of their savings and then they invested. And all of a sudden I would reach out and talk to them. And I'm like, how's everything going? Not good. We're still on the market. We're still on the market. We're still on the market. So now you got a property that you try to flip, still on the market. So now your question is, how much am I going to reduce? And how much am I going to be reducing? Or am I going to hang on to this? But if you've sunken everything into it to try to get a payday out of it, then you're in a bad spot.
Yeah. And now it's not like 3 years ago, right? Or 3 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years would have been.
It's not even that. It's like, look what we're dealing with now. It's like shortages. We're dealing with, like, just if you wanted to renovate your house, let's, for example, you're in that trade, right?
Yeah.
Like, how long do you wait for a GC?
Well, during the last 2 years or whatever, 3 years, guys were giving 6-month windows, if not longer. They were going in a whole year window. And then as a homeowner, you got to wait. But everybody was like, we all learned our lesson that our home isn't a home anymore. We need to renovate. So who do we get? We got to keep on calling. Nobody's available. Who do we get? We get some fly by night. Who do we get? Cash jobs. Who do we? So the pool starts going right down, right?
Yeah, like GC is different. It's a total different animal than like just like niche.
But people are desperate at that point.
Yeah, I know.
And they just want to get anything done. Then it becomes a horror show.
Yeah.
Then it becomes problem after problem after problem, right?
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
And the thing, Manny, as well, is, as you know, especially during the pandemic, it's like you order windows or you order, like, how long do you wait?
No, you wait a long. There's been some guys in Canada, some companies that have been pretty quick turnaround, right? But I mean, is it the best product? I don't know if it's the best, but you are getting it reasonably fast.
How about I was hearing through a friend, you know, like the electric boxes or the panels.
Oh, the panels was a joke.
Wow.
And I got from what I understand, it got to a point where they were purposely doing this just for supply and demand. And that's what I was getting really upset about, is like, you guys are you're creating a storm just to get more profit out of products that you're currently selling. So at that point, you get these companies that have bean counters just sitting down going, listen, if we create a shortage, we can charge this much more for it now. And people will wait another month. Yeah. And then we just made another 100 points on it.
And the worst thing is
that's not right.
And the worst thing is too, is people know that they have to wait a long time. And then they instead of grabbing one, they grab like 3 or 4 on purpose.
Or they'll purchase more expensive items.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned it, I think before, where I was like, Kohler was outselling all their higher end luxury products during this time because they couldn't maintain all the lower end products, and all the higher end stuff was already on the list, was already on the shelves. It was ready to go. So people were paying more. I still believe the reason why Sprinter vans had no chips, because all the chips went into the S-Class and the E-Class, the 2 new vehicles that they designed that they were launching. There was never a shortage of those 2 vehicles. They were all ready to go. Vehicles that cost $150,000 to $200,000, or the E-Class is costing $100,000. Those are all ready to go. But the work vans that we desperately need, there's no chips for them.
Wow.
So you create this demand that forces people to pay more. Like vans are going up to $100,000 now, $110,000. Like anybody who's bought the Lightning, same thing, man. Like you're paying $100,000 for a pickup truck. Yeah. So I get it. We're in an economy that we've created that these companies, they're allowed to do this. They just do it, and then we pay for it. If you're going to be that homeowner and you want to pay for it, by all means do it. But me personally, this whole year, I've been talking to myself in the back of my head. I'm going, that's just way too expensive. I'm not purchasing it.
And this is the point I'm trying to get to, Manny, is like, what's better, to just buy a property, hold on to it for now, and just like invest slowly long term, or like do a major reno, and then you got three things missing, right? You got the contractor, gotta wait. Material's expensive. And then you got to wait.
Yeah.
So you got those three things. So why do that now? Why not wait a little bit and then do it? But I get it. It's like everybody has goals. Everybody looks forward to something. And then they're like, oh, like I've been home I get it, right? I've been home this whole time. It's like, yeah, we should get a pool, right? Like,
what about the agents that are turning around and saying, don't worry, this will course correct? What track are you on? Like, I don't understand like, why are they so certain it's going to course correct when they were not certain that this was going to happen?
What do you mean by agents? Like realtors?
So agents are saying, listen, yeah, I understand the bank rates going up. It will level out. It will go down. It will.
Yeah.
And housing prices will go back up. It's not going to course correct.
I think like if you understand like economics or real estate cycles or economic cycles, they're cyclical for sure.
Yes, for sure.
I think that's what they're trying to say, but they're just not saying it right. Maybe I don't know.
That's years of course correction.
Yeah.
It's not overnight.
Yeah. So one thing, I don't know if you know this, Manny, economic versus real estate. Real estate cycles are longer.
Yeah.
Right. Than compared to regular, like recessions. If you look at average recessions, I'm not going to come here and pretend I'm an economist.
No, of course, yeah.
But they say like recessions last 1 to 3 years. And that's unless it's like a depression, right? Then it becomes like the stock market crash, 1929. But yeah, real estate is just, it's like you said, it's a long-term game, and
nobody really knows, and we wouldn't really everybody. So I mean, anybody that's saying that, I guess they're trying to be optimistic.
Yeah.
At that point,
but realtors want to sell, right?
That's why. So they're still going back to the suppliers, and they're creating the storm. So realtors could be doing the same thing too. Don't worry, no, it's a good time to buy. Good time to buy. Yeah,
because if you tell them not to buy, I don't have to sell.
Yes.
Like I'm comfortable. Like I don't have to sell. Like I help my customers, my clients. It's like I always have their heart in mind. I'm very honest. That's probably why I'm not as successful in real estate than roofing.
Yeah.
Because I'm very honest, and I just want what's best for them. Some guys they just want to sell. They want to sell, and they're very ruthless. And when they kind of want to, spin the narrative towards that, of course, because they want to sell. They're not going to say, "Hey, it's a bad time to sell." Like, yeah, I'm not going to get a commission check, right? So it's like, yeah, don't buy. Like,
but you're not doing it for the same and they don't have all their ducks in the same. Like everything it's different for you at that point.
For me, it's different. For them, they have everything invested into that. They don't have. They may have like rental property. A lot of them get in thing, but they don't. And there's 40% of the industry. I don't know if you know, is like part time, right?
Oh, I didn't know.
Like
that.
Majority, it's a lot. It's like a high
half of
percentage.
The really? Huh?
Yeah, it's like a lot of people do it. Like even in the States.
So what is it? CFL? Like everyone's got a second job? Is that what's going on there?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I didn't realize
Ricky Williams.
For all the Americans out there, I think they must be using that joke too, huh?
Yeah, probably.
They have to be using that joke, right? But
that's another.
That's a whole other story. Narrative. But it makes you wonder. I guess right now, everyone, the lesson to learn is just be careful. Just pay attention to everything and just question everything now. And if it doesn't feel right, then don't move forward. That's
and just cover your fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Like don't overstretch. Have an emergency fund, and your time will come. Hard work, slowly. Not everybody.
I know, but in today's digital age, man, everything's a quick, man. I can look, follow me and do this and do that, and you'll be a millionaire. That's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's all the kids now, like they all want to be like TikTok stars and whatever.
It's all like that. A little OBC talk here. Clearances around cooktops. Framing, finishes, and cabinetry installed directly above the location of the cooktop must be at least 29.5 above the heating elements. You know what? That's the question that everyone always asks me. What? No, what was going on? You're shaving. What? What's this one? Oh, no, sorry. I made a mistake. That's why she was signaling me. Don't worry. No. This is a well-oiled machine, man. It's a well-oiled machine. Roof systems. Here we go. Now this makes sense.
Yeah. I was thinking like cooktops.
I know. No, don't worry. We need more people on the team. Me more. I don't know.
You need a gallon of espresso at night.
That's what I already had 2 today. I'm all good. Roof systems of wood frame construction must be either tied to exterior masonry walls by at least 1/2 inch diameter anchor bolts, which cannot be more than 7 feet 10 inches and a half apart. Does that make sense? So hang on a second. Roof systems of wood frame construction must be either tied to an exterior. So I guess you're talking about party walls, and
I'm assuming maybe like the what do you call it? The trusses.
Yeah,
like
the trusses themselves.
Like sit on top.
Yeah, but they're anchored to wood framing as well. Must be embedded at least 3.5 inches into the masonry. Must be fastened to lumber rafter. Okay, so these are options, right?
Lumber rafters.
Yeah, so lumber rafter plate at least 1.5 inch thick. Yeah, so your top blade. Or anchored by nailing the wall furring strips to the side. I've always used hurricane strips, hurricane ties. People think it's overkill, but I don't want to find out if a hurricane comes into Ontario and all of a sudden that roof will go as the shingles are flapping away, right?
The Dureco, right? Just recently. Did you hear about the Dureco?
No, what happened?
This summer?
No.
Oh, wow. Like it hit certain areas. Maybe it didn't hit your area. It was like a tornado that, like, you know, tornadoes go like this.
Yeah.
I know this because my client told me, Gino from Vaughan, like he's very into this. And the tornado came like that towards.
That's the one that took out the homes. They took out the homes, not just the roofs.
Probably homes. Yeah, not just the roofs.
Yeah.
But like it happened in, I think, June or July.
Yeah, I remember
it was
that.
Really bad, yeah.
So it was a horizontal tornado?
Yeah, apparently it's a horizontal one. And it's very rare. It only happens in the States. It's never.
So why was it up here?
I don't know. Maybe global warming.
Maybe it filled out the ArriveCan app and it showed up here or something like that, man. Anchors
$52 million.
Must be it's all good. He signed off on everything. Must be at least 1 1/8 by 1/8 inch corrosion resistant steel straps. Here you go. Must be shaped to provide mechanical key with a masonry. Must extend across at least 3 joists if the joists are parallel to the wall. Those are the anchors. That's a little bit OBC talk. Now the Green Book talk is going to belong to this one. No,
I'm surprised you
this
didn't.
one.
I'm surprised you didn't get into like the underlayment, right?
No, we didn't.
Wow.
We didn't. I
was ready for that question. Actually,
we're going to talk about that. No, first of all, when it comes to, hang on a sec, we're going to shift gears back to roofing now. OBC wise, you don't even like ice and water doesn't apply in OBC.
So apparently, like I haven't read it a long time ago, like once into it, like, you know, in the States, like you go to Florida, it's funny because Florida, like they don't deal with ice, right?
No, they don't take care of it.
So yeah, so like them, from what I see from like roofer groups on Facebook and stuff, because we all like mingle and talk smack and whatever. They're saying like in Florida that they do like full, like it's code, like full synthetic, full ice
over
and
the
water.
entire roof.
Yeah, like I have to look into it
Why?
because that's what they're saying. Yeah.
Why?
And here we don't. Like we're so outdated.
Why are they doing full roof coverage?
Yeah, I don't know. Like this is what people are saying. Don't like quote me on it, but if they're saying it, I'm thinking it's like we even laugh about it in the group, right?
But their roofs don't breathe.
Which roofs?
In Florida.
Why don't they?
They don't have roofs that are vented. They don't need it. So if you're sealing, I'm thinking building science, building passive.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of argument that if you ice and water shield the whole roof, the roof can't breathe properly. You need some exposure to get out of there.
You need some.
So you're gonna get a hot roof getting very, very warm. I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, look into it because this
curious
is
about that.
like hearsay too, right? Like I'm hearing this from what they're saying, and we we laugh because we have a mixture of like folks, roofers from the States and roofers from
we
Canada.
mix and match. Yeah,
and that's what they're laughing at, like why we just, so basically going to your question, like you just have to have like, let's say ice and water shield. Like they say, like, from your interior wall, just has to be 9 inches, like from inside wall. So obviously you have overhang, but you're like, let's say where your.
So OBC, their line starts at your interior wall. It doesn't start at the roof edge.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But that works out to be, if you put one roll,
exactly,
it works out to be like 10 or 12 inches.
Depending on
past the roof.
Because some have like 2 feet, some have 1 foot, some have nothing, right?
But back to the Florida, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't vent their roofs.
I don't know. I don't know. I know that like I've seen videos on YouTube where, like I've seen them have. I think I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong, but they would have like their AC system. I don't know if it's under
always no
or on top.
It's always on
top, right?
So it's always attic based, right?
Yeah. So I believe you. And then they have like crawl space too. Yes, that's another different thing, right?
So then why would you be putting ice and water shield throughout the?
I don't know.
It creates a bigger problem.
Yeah, unless they're putting metal roof, I'm not too sure. Like not ice and water, but other. It's a
good question. We can get somebody from Florida
look it up.
reaching out and talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, yeah, and you're right though. All of a sudden, then you come to us with we have
nothing.
harsh climate here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and we have no regulations. So
all they care about is the roof is actually vented. That's all they care about.
So maybe this is what the discussion is. It's like this is a roofer from Florida, and he's at Florida, and maybe he's doing these things. I don't know if it's right, or maybe he's just. I'm assuming like what you're saying is if you put on a shingle roof that. I'm not saying that you're saying this, but they don't put any underlayment, or they just put a little bit.
No, they just put. I've never seen them put it throughout the whole roof. And my thought process is that they're not venting it. So you're like, okay, can you have you ever been in a hot sunny day and you're right underneath, like if you're working in a roof and that roof is, it's like you can feel the heat coming off of the wood. Yeah. So it's almost like you're baking it. You're like it's just going to create problems at that point.
Yeah, like even us, like we don't even on my own place, like I don't go with synthetic all the way up. Like I do it if the client asks, but I don't go with it all the way up. I leave like the top section open. Sometimes I do.
But that's OBC. So that's telling us that we have to have that 9-10 inches from the wall line, not the roof line.
Yeah.
And that's one course, right? And then I correct me if I'm wrong, you don't need ice and water in the valleys.
I don't think you do.
OBC. I'm talking about OBC.
Yeah. I don't think you do. I never seen that. I just see the eaves.
Yeah. Do they still use tar paper? Like, is tar paper still sold?
They do still sell them.
For what purpose?
Maybe for vapor. Is it like a vapor barrier or whatever? It's a little bit water resistant.
No.
Like synthetic's better, right?
Yes.
So it's funny because, being old school, my dad, right? He would still like use felt paper.
And then started using the membranes.
Yeah, but it was like, I was telling him this whole time, like we have synthetic, it's easier to apply, it's water resistant, it's much better system.
Did he get it?
And he didn't.
He didn't get it.
Old school, right?
Of course.
They don't listen.
Yeah.
I like the old
school. This is what I've been using. I'm going to keep on using.
Yeah. And then it was funny because we had another old school guy. And then once he started using it, he's like, it was funny because I would tell him, it's like, yeah, this stuff's the best and whatever. And then he started using it. I'm like, really? I've been telling you this for like 8 years.
No, but he's not supposed to listen to you. He's supposed to listen to somebody else that's closer
his
to
age.
Exactly, right? And if they tell you exactly what you just told him, then they'll agree to it. And you'll wonder, you look at him going, well, who turned the light on? I don't understand what's going on here, man. No, but that's how it works. That's how an old school changes to a new school.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's slowly like transitioning to the thing. It's like, the maximum vent is like, old louver vents and louver vents, right? So it's like old, like, listen, like my old man, when he does the work, it's like to the like 80s and 90s, but perfect, like 90s, right? And then it's like just time changes, the materials change, everything changes. And then like there's new tools out. Like you seen the pitch hopper, ever see the pitch hopper that you like, it's on the roof and then you like, I don't know, it's just like a sponge and it's on an angle. Never seen it?
You're talking about the ridge cap.
No, a pitch hopper is like, I don't know. It's kind of like a couch. Like a couch, like the cushion that roofers go on and they like
yeah. I know you're talking about.
But it's like an angled pitch hopper. It's like this, but it's on the roof, and then you just
it's like a wedge.
Yeah. And you go on it, right? And I'm trying to show like I don't trust that.
He didn't like it.
No, he doesn't like it.
It's not going to go anywhere.
It doesn't.
It bites.
The only thing I think with that is after like a year of using it,
it's weight. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like just put your shingles on it, right?
Don't guys normally do like a old piece of carpet or something like that?
Or I would do like we use just jack and board.
Yeah.
But like I would just use like that way, like the cushion and whatever, right? Like
let me ask you, are whirly birds or whatever, they're garbage, right?
Yeah, they're garbage.
Not only that they're ugly to look at, like it's almost like a turkey that's stuck on top of the roof.
Yeah, and they can sound pretty horrible too.
Are they noisy too, huh?
So when they start squeaking and stuff, because
you hear it through the whole house,
it's getting rusty, and then people like like you can't sleep sometimes, right? Like because of the wind, and they're like they're just doing the noise. Yeah. And so what I recommend, there's a couple of products out there. We started using like the solar vents.
Yes.
You heard them? Canada Go Green.
Yeah.
I like their products. I've used it.
Are they good? They work?
The problem with that is like when I had, when you get a customer that's OCD, like asks you every little detail about it in every situation.
Pretty much every customer, yeah.
Yeah. So once we started getting so one guy, he would ask us, does it work at night? So I'd call, does it work at night? Good question. Don't you think in the summer night, it's hot in there?
But it doesn't
It's solar. Yeah, it's solar.
Doesn't work at night.
Yeah, and they wouldn't work at night because it needs a certain amount of like.
It doesn't have a reservoir. It doesn't keep charge.
I don't think that one does.
That makes no sense.
It's funny because I don't know if he was the owner or the sales rep for them. I can call them anytime. Like he would answer, Jason or whatever. Nice guy, good product. But then they wouldn't work at night. Like roofers are using them all the time. Like and another thing is like if the motor stops working, it's just a louver vent. So what I like, Manny, is I like a maximum vent, an optimum vent. You ever see them when you go to Quebec?
Yeah, they're nice. They're a Quebec-based company.
Yeah. I like those because it's just mechanical. It's solid. And then, another thing is how is a solar vent going to work when there's snow on top of it?
That's another point.
Yeah. So
I had the same arguments with skylights. I've had clients before like, no, we don't want a skylight. I don't want a hole in this roof. I don't want to have any problems. What if the power goes out and all this other stuff? And they were just launching the new solar power one. Not solar power, rain activated sensors on them. So even if you've got no power, the house is killed.
As a battery.
It just like as soon as water touched it, and they couldn't believe it. And all of a sudden, I installed one. I did a video on another job. You literally lick your thumb and you just touch the sensor, and it closes on its own. Yeah. It's done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there goes your solve. But then they introduced the solar power version one as well too, right?
Yeah, and
backup.
I'm assuming if there is a reserve for that, but from what I've seen, I don't see it. Like I've had customers where they installed 4 through a restoration company.
Yeah.
And as one of my customers, I went back and I put on maximum vents and they're not working. 3 out of the 4, one's like going slowly, but 3 out of the 4 don't work.
So what is the point? Like the purpose of this is it scientifically proven that you can move more air out of that attic with that instead of just a natural regular hole in the roof? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so it pushes more air, right? It's just like a whirly vent, right? I don't know the
without
science
the noise
behind
though,
it.
Right?
It has a little bit of a thing, but it doesn't. Yeah, so a whirly vent makes more noise when they start getting older because it's all mechanical. And the thing with you're going into with the whirly vent, is when they stop working, water gets in, right? Because they're angled. Like look at it, like just.
So if it rains at a certain angle, it's true. It's right.
Yeah, it's all
just
open.
It's a cavity. Yeah.
Versus if you get like a maximum vent, like the water hits and goes out, right? Like it doesn't get in. It's just common, but it's old school. People don't want them anymore, a lot of them. But yeah, it's very popular, right? People just know it because they see it, right? So it's like spinning, right?
But here's the funny thing: is you tell homeowners that by the time you realize that there's a leak in your house, that's from months ago, possibly.
Oh yeah,
because you got water coming in and it's soaking all your blown in, and then it's dampening that. Then it's got to get through the drywall, and then you'll finally get a water spot. That could be depending on how much rainfall getting in there, it could be weeks to months, right?
And it depends how good the insulation job is too.
If it's like 4 or 5 inches or something like that, if you got like our proper whatever it is, you got 15 to 16 inches, then you're gonna get a lot of water going in there, and you'll be like, it'll be a while.
It'll be a while,
and then all of a sudden you get a phone call and you go, "Oh, this has been going on for a long, long time." Then you got a bigger problem. Now you got to change all that insulation.
And we get customers that I even ask them how do you not have you have the best insulation guy ever? Like how do you not have water for this amount of time? Like I see plywood that's dark like how when it's faded, like you leave it out on a construction site for 6 months.
Yellows. It almost looks like Douglas or
it's like been there.
Yeah, hemlock.
Been there for a long time. They ask how long it's been. It's like by the color, it's probably been like here for a while. Oh damn.
Do you like ridge caps? Do you prefer them or you like them or no?
Oh, you mean
the ridge vents? Sorry, the ridge vents. Yeah,
they're good. They're good. They're pricey.
They're much more expensive.
I don't know the exact prices, but they're pricier.
So
but they're the best. They're better.
Because
they're
that's the optimum spot where you want,
sure.
because that's where all the heat's gonna go, right?
Yeah, they're good.
So, but then all it is just it's like a plastic housing or something. Or it's a rubber. Or is it plastic?
It's like a plastic, and then they have ones that are like, I don't know what kind of material. It's like a cushion material. I don't know. It's like a breathable fabric.
And then you're just throwing the shingle on top.
So like you've kind of feed it like, it's 1 inch on each side, right, of the plywood. But usually when we go into that stuff, it's like it's already there. That's why we're doing it. It's a repair, or it's already there on the roof replacement, versus just imagine like you already have all the vents cut out.
Yeah.
And then everything's extra. It's like, why not just add an extra vent? I mean, just because of the price point and whatever, it's reality. It's not Mike Holmes, right? Like, let's blow the budget out the water, right? Like, who cares?
Mike Holmes is a roofer too?
No, I'm just saying Mike Holmes. I'm just saying Mike Holmes is like when you see him on
he just demolishes everything, and then that's
it's not the reality of what construction is.
Nobody has that wallet. Nobody has that wallet.
Yeah, because there's probably, I don't know, behind it, maybe the show's paying a certain percentage of it.
Could be all kinds of deals that you're not privy to.
Yeah. So like then you can do everything right. Whereas like the client's trying to like negotiate with you, and then it's like, you can't do every single thing when you're on a certain budget, right? So when you get onto the roof, or your dad gets onto the roof and it's somebody else's roof, what are some of the typical problems that you see that people just cut corners on the roof? I can only assume terminations or flashing. Mm-hmm. Like, is that where they're doing a bad job of finalizing that? Because those are exterior moments in the actual envelope of the roof, right? So you have to install it correctly. You have to finish it correctly. Otherwise, it fails. Yeah, you're right.
So is that the majority of problems that we're seeing?
Yeah, like a lot of people talk about the secondary stuff, but in the end of the day, it's number one is your first protection, which is your shingles. Yeah. It's your chimney flashings. There's a lot of companies out there that they leave old chimney flashings and they change everything. They leave the step flashing. When we do our stuff, we take everything. Everything's brand new.
You have to redo it. All that caulking is really brittle at that time.
No, they'll probably knock off the caulking and put new caulking on top or put on top, but it's like
they don't. Still the same flashing.
I see even in my neighborhood, like I live in Downsview, by Downsview Park.
Yeah.
Like I see the jobs there that I've quoted on, and their prices are a lot cheaper, but I look at a brand new roof done, and then you see like old.
I hate that.
Oh, I hate it. It's so bad. You know what's even worse than that is when you see like old vents, louver vents, like
still being really. Yeah. They won't even replace that. That's just such.
I've seen that.
It's such a cheap item.
It's like $15 to $30. Yeah,
and they want to reuse that.
They're reusing it. It's crazy.
What if it's like brown or something like that, and the roof is black, or they're still going to reuse it?
Well, they're going to
spray paint.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but like I'm assuming, like it's probably like sometimes I see it as like a neutral color, like it's gray or whatever, or black, but sometimes it doesn't even match with the roof. You're right. It's like the roof is brown and it's black, right?
So you know what? Going back to that green shingle application.
Green shingle?
Yeah, the green tab shingle in my old hood.
Oh yeah.
They don't make green roof caps, vent caps. So would you use black?
No, because, okay, we like a 3-tab. You know, a 3-tab, you can cut the tabs, right?
Yes.
And then it becomes the hip and ridge.
Yes.
So you just get the green 3-tab, and then you just do the hip and ridge, right?
No, but what are you doing for the termination of all the roof vents? They only come in black or brown or
you can get them in green.
You can get them in green. Yeah,
if you go to like Spar Marathon, you can get them into the like
you can get them in green.
Dark green, yeah.
I don't think I'm trying to remember if the caps
Marathon.
They must have been at the back of the house because I didn't see any caps on the front of the house. And I don't think the new eavesdrops were on either, and I don't think they were.
So what are you talking about caps in terms of caps?
No, vent caps. Sorry, vent caps.
Like louver vents?
Yeah.
Oh, like those they don't make green. You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you meant.
So what would you do in that situation then if you're?
So like, yeah, you got to go with a neutral color. So you know what you use? Usually, like green goes with like depending on your. Usually you go with a black because
But what if you
or
get an
brown.
old school Portuguese guy and
Yeah.
he wants some? You know what he's gonna do, right? He's gonna come
spray
up,
paint.
yeah, and he'll have a can of Tremclad with like the marketing label on it from the '60s, and he'll still be shaking it, and that ball will be very, very quiet in there, and he'll be like, "No, just use this, it'll be okay." And then it just sputs out, right? And it gives it like a hammered look or something.
Take it
like
and go. Take it and go.
That's what's gonna happen, man. Unless someone makes a green one.
But I seen green like flashing, right? Like that was what I was
Really?
saying. Like, yeah, for chimneys. Yeah, like you can get it. Like go to Spar. Like I see a dark green.
I know Spar's got a lot of
They
stuff.
have a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never seen like you're right. Like
I'm
the
just
vent,
saying these
louver
old,
vents.
yeah, there's old school guys. They're still out there, and they
Yeah,
want
yeah.
that green roof, right?
Yeah.
What is your favorite go-to shingles, man? I know you guys use ICO and things like that, right? But what other ones do you guys work
Yeah,
with?
obviously ICO is our go-to for like because of obviously the coverage and the cost, and we're running a business, of course. It's still as good. I like them because, and there's other companies I'll go into. Like I don't like the really sticky ones, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Like everybody talks about Certainty Pro and this. The problem is it's nice when you put them on, but if you ever have a windstorm or you have to put in like a washroom vent,
Yeah.
when you try to retrofit them, the asphalt from the shingle underneath
too
sticks
stuck,
to
eh?
and it breaks the shingle, and then it's like a possible leak. So it's like it's very hard to retrofit. So I like my own place. I use the OC Duration, Sure Duration,
Okay.
Owens Corning.
Good shingle.
Very good shingle.
New
high
shingle?
winters
Is that a
and-
new shingle?
No, it's been around. Like they invented fiberglass
Yeah,
shingles.
yeah.
Since the 70s.
Owens Corning has done a lot.
They do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They're like legit Pink Panther stuff, right? Like, whatever. Yeah, I like theirs because they have like the white strip. And then when I need to retrofit, if I need to do anything, like even my own house, I'm like, if I want to add something later on, I can retrofit it, right? So, and then also because I put on solar panels on my place because I had them originally when I bought it.
Okay.
And then I had to take out the solar panels, then put the shingles, and you got to put the flange for the solar panels.
It's a gasket thing or something.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a black, or you can get in tin too, and then it just goes over because they nailed the rack onto the roof, to the roof.
Yeah.
So
But your piercing structure.
yeah. So
Yeah.
let's say I have to do the roof, and I have to like feed that a week or two later when they come
Yep.
back. It's
Yep.
just easier, doesn't ruin the shingles versus Owens
They're easy to
Certainty
work with.
Pro. It's like, oh man,
It's just too tight.
once it's latched on, it's latched on. It's very hard. I know there's other stuff I see, like there's a tool called Bibby, and it's kind of like a saw, and you kind of like when the asphalt's cold, try to introduce my dad to that, but it's like,
He didn't have it.
they don't have it. One thing that I got him into
What's
was
that?
the roof snake. You ever see the roof snake?
No. What is that?
Do you ever work with architectural shingles ever?
Yeah.
So back in the day when you
Layer
do
on top of layer on top of layer. Yeah, whatever.
so when you do like a repair, like shingles blow off, right? A 3-tab, for example.
Yep.
Like you use a pry bar, right?
Yeah.
You take them out, and then you lift up the tab, and you can like put
Yeah.
the next one in and you nail it in.
Done it so many times.
Have you done that with ever like an architectural shingle?
I've done it.
It's hard.
It's
Because it's
at that point, I'm taking out the whole shingle. It's
Yeah.
for me to do whatever I've got to do.
But what I'm saying is the one when you feed that one back in, right?
Yeah.
And then you try to think, there's like only like the shingle only goes up a little bit. So there's this new products like a roof snake. So it's like this red bar. It's like and it kind of goes like this, and then it kind of like, I can't explain it, but the nail goes into it, and then you put it under the shingle, and then there's like a bar that comes up, and you only hit that bar on the top so that it nails the
That's
shingle.
clever.
It nails, yeah, it's smart. And it nails the shingle under, so you don't have to really just lift it up, put it in, and then you're just nailing the
You know
bar.
what I do is I scuff all my knuckles trying to get it up in there and try to get the hair.
And then you can ruin the shingle.
I
like
know
you hit
can
it, right?
damage it. And then
So it's
now
like a
you're-
new product.
You're doing one shingle, and all of a sudden you're doing 15 shingles because you keep damaging until you're trying to figure it out, right?
It's cool.
Is that
It's
a cool? Yeah. Well, who's selling that product now?
Well, it's like now you can get at Spar, but like when I first started using it, like 5 years ago, it was like Amazon and stuff. And
Expensive?
you know how it is.
How much? Like it's a piece of steel, man.
I don't know. It was like $50-$60. It's not that like
For a pry, basically a
pry bar,
a glorified
like,
pry.
Yeah. Patented, of course, because they're gonna. But it does the job, and it makes your job
And it
so
makes your
much
job a lot easier. That's
and
it.
It's worth every penny. when something makes your life so much easier, like those guys with the baseboards and they have like a special tool, it's just night and day, right?
It's just
it's worth it. It's worth it, right?
Do you guys like tackling skylights? You prefer stepped or you prefer curb? I guess curb you would have to do a membrane of some sort, right?
Yeah, like curb is
is it
deck
easy?
mounted and curb mounted, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like I like deck because it's off and then you do the step
flashing. Yeah,
it's much better.
I think it's nice.
Curb is like it's dependent on like blue skin and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right? All those adhesives. So it's not as good. It's easier, but yeah,
pain in the ass to redo them once they're already done because I guess there's so many steps in there, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but that's the trade, man. That's like you guys are up there, right?
Yeah. Like it's skylights now. They're pretty pricey. That's the problem. Is like when you give a person it's like $3,000 to install a skylight. They're like, wow, like I didn't think it was that much.
Do you want that natural daylight anymore? No, you don't want it anymore. Okay.
I'm not a big fan of skylights because they like when you get some skylights, obviously like Velux is amazing, right? Yeah, like lifetime.
I've never had an issue with a Velux.
Yeah. And then you get other companies is like, and then the company wants because it's a little bit on the cheaper end, and then they're like, what's the warranty on that? It's like it's 5 years.
About a week and a half.
No, it'll last for a long time. I've seen them. They last like, let's say those other products like 15, 20 years, and then we resealed between the frame and the glass, and the last until you do the roof. But it's like, it's not very optimistic when the manufacturer only gives you 5-10 years.
It's not very confident.
Yeah, it's not very confident.
Right.
Whereas Velux, it's like,
it's kind
lifetime.
Of they what I like about Velux is 3 layers of protection. So for you to actually get a water penetration, you'd have to get past 3 layers of something. Yeah. And it's not just membrane layers, it's metal layers, it's like gasket layers. Like, you really got to get like a problem for it to fail on you, right?
And have you ever done their courses ever to install skylights?
I never did the courses, but I opened up the box and I pretended to read the manual and I installed it and it worked totally and it worked, right? So,
but I'm saying like the reason why I ask is because they have courses for anybody.
Oh no, to make yourself certified for sure. I know.
Yeah, if you want to go and and they're awesome for that. Like they give you lunch
because they believe in their product, right?
Yeah. And
so they give you lunch. What kind of lunch do they give you?
Oh, they do it nice.
Serious?
Do like Italian,
any vino?
Like nice,
there's no vino. No, because there's like rules with these corporations, right?
No, they don't. They do pops. I'm assuming. But they do like
San
Italian.
Pellegrino at least. No,
what?
They wouldn't have San Pellegrino.
I don't know.
I'm not a pop guy. I don't like drinking pop.
Yeah, but they do like juice, water. Like, you ever go to Suprema? Kind of the same thing. They give you like a veal sandwich.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and then they give you like Portuguese chicken. We'll try this week because he's like the guy that's doing the course is always eating free lunch, and he's like, I want to change it up, right?
I remember the very first, like the first year I was doing construction, long time ago. Remember Rona was always having Contractors Day, and they would have like a little get together, and you come by.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember. They would do that every so often, so it'd be like pretty standard. It was like burgers and fries and whatever, hot dogs, and I wasn't necessarily going there for the food. It was more about the conversations. I was just rubbing elbows with the trades and just talking shit, right? And all of a sudden, they just gave it up. They just stopped doing it, and I started inquiring. I go, "Why did you guys stop about this?" And then the government got involved, and they saying that we can't serve food because we would have to get a food license and then the whole liquor license and all this other crap. So they just kiboshed the whole thing. And I was like, that's just the dummest thing ever.
Littlest thing, eh?
So then I'm not happy about Rona anymore. So you don't see me at Rona.
Yeah, you don't see me at Rona.
Damn, I forgot. I was going to ask you something else, man. Damn, I forgot.
Had to do the skylights, maybe?
No, it wasn't skylights. It was something.
I'm trying
to remember. I don't know. I'll try to remember it. I'll try to remember it. Green Book. Let's do a little Green Book talk here. Injury statistics. That's always a must in this industry. That's what I was going to ask you. Is there a roof pitch angle that is the worst one that you detest? Because, like, I've done some fix-ups on my roof, and I go up there, or I've added a skylight. I've gone up there, and I don't have a steep pitch, but I don't know if it's my age. I've got an annoying pitch, man. It's just, you can't squat or stand.
It's in the middle.
It's in the middle. And I'm like, is there a particular pitch that is like really not favorable to a tradesperson being on a roof to work as a roofing? Like, I mean, I know that more steeper ones are kind of cool because you're almost facing the workspace.
Yeah.
But then you get into too low where it's like a flat roof at that application. Then you get clients, well, no, we've been told shingles could be doing this at this angle. But then there's that funny sweet spot that's a annoying angle.
Yeah.
I don't know which pitch it is. I got to find out. But it's mine.
I don't know
mine
which
is
pitch
it.
it is.
Mine it is.
I really don't look at like numbers of like the
You don't
roofs,
get into
like,
that whole thing?
whole science of like, you know, which pitch is what. Like I just go onto the roof.
I know, but it's just like that.
No, I know what you're
where
saying.
The feet are like this.
I believe you. I believe you.
right?
I think if I'm correct, that's like a 8-12.
Could be.
I'm guessing an 8-12 or 9-12.
It could be.
I'm guessing right there because 9 is comfortable. Sorry, 9. 6, I think between 4 and 6 is pretty comfortable.
It's comfortable. And then you start getting to 8 or 9.
8 is like weird, and 9 it's like uncomfortable, but it's not straight up.
You think
And
these people
it's
that
a little bit dangerous too.
they're designing these roofs thinking like, come on, how about the roofer's got to do this work and that angle is funny angle, it's a hard angle.
One thing that
Or am I just being a pain?
One of my biggest pet peeves going to roofing in the future is the ice and water shield stuff. Have you ever I don't know if you hear
In the wind?
No, I'm just saying like when you have to come back and do the roof and it's full of ice and water shields. You ever rip shingles off a roof that has ice and water shields? It's a pain because the shingles stick to it. And then sometimes you just have to leave it on, unfortunately, and just as long as it doesn't get the double.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't go on top of the other one.
It'll deflect, right?
Yeah, like you'll put an ice and water on top of that one after.
But you can't, like, can you remove it? Does it come off?
No, like it's so, some of them, like the only like 100% is like take out all the plywood, right? Yeah.
But nobody's going to.
So it's overkill. Like the worst is when you get, what I'm saying is like for all the, you know, roofers out there, like don't do overkill because think about like the roofer, like in like 25 years.
Can you imagine the Florida boys?
Yeah. Like, like how do you,
you're ripping all that ply off.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're doing it. Unless you know that it's still code, I think it is, to put a second layer of shingles on an existing layer of shingles.
Where like
on OBC, I think technically you're allowed to add another layer.
Like
in Ontario. It's a weight thing.
I heard that you're allowed like 2 layers in total, but you can't do a third layer. But
I know, but would you put 2 layers?
It depends the person's situation.
If they don't want to spend the money on removal.
Yeah, like one lady's like, okay, for example, I have a bungalow. I live at like Rustic and 401, right?
Yeah.
Like these houses, they're going to go down and they're going to be custom houses.
Yeah, they're going to knock them down.
I want to be here for another 5 years, but I want, like when my parents die, I want to, or whatever, they're there with their parents or whatever situation it is, and they don't want to spend a lot of money on the roof. So they're like, just put a roof on top. And that's just the reality, right?
But then you come along and sometimes if you look at it and you don't realize that there's 2 layers and you quote it to remove 1 layer.
You check though.
You have to check. You go up there.
Yeah. Sorry.
You always go up there.
Always. I'm not gonna go there and I know there's a lot of softwares out there and stuff. I like to check because I don't
grab the ladder and just go up there.
Just go, man. A little bit of work, just grind, just
That's
go.
it.
A little bit of time, doesn't hurt nobody. You know what I mean? So I know what you're saying. It's like in that situation, but you just have to check because then the client gets upset too, right?
Yeah.
And you give them one price and then you're coming with another price because it's a different labor.
And you don't want to do that. Green Book talk. Injury statistics in the interior finishing industry. Is this the right one? No, it's not. Ladders. That's what it is. All right. It's a little late. Ladders. Green Book talk. Portable ladders used to access different work surface levels must extend at least 35 3/8 above the landing surface. So almost 3 feet.
Yeah.
Above the landing surface. I've seen guys right at the tickle edge, man.
I've seen guys under the eave-trough. Like
no way. How do you?
Yeah. One guy is.
That's dangerous.
We're doing like a roof maintenance. Next door. I guess it's a restoration company. They send like the insurance send a guy, no name truck, right? Comes up. I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Underneath these,
his ladder wasn't long enough. I think it was like, I'm assuming it was like maybe one.
Was it the metal tech, the collapsible one?
No, it wasn't the telescopic. It wasn't the telescopic.
I hate those things.
But he had like an old, like whatever crappy aluminum one, and it was under, and he couldn't get to the eave-trough, and he went on top of the roof. And I'm like, how the hell did he get on the roof?
How's he getting off?
Yeah. I don't know how he did it. But I don't know if there was like not a lot over, but still how he did it. I still to this day, like.
Did you catch him at Cirque du Soleil the next week or what? Have a clear space of at least 5 7/8 behind every rung, unless it's against a slope excavation wall. Have an adequate landing surface available at the top and the bottom. Be secure at the top and the bottom. An access ladder fixed in position must be vertical. Have rest platforms at least every 29 6 inches. 29 feet 6 3, 6 1/3. These are weird numbers, man. 29 feet 6 inches. Extend at least 35 3/8 above the landing. That's the same thing. Have evenly spaced rungs at least 5 7/8 from the wall. Have an adequate landing surface again. Be free of defective loose rungs. Have a safety cage starting at 7'2". A safety cage is 7'2"? Really? Wow. Above the ground if the ladder extends 16 feet. Not to be used in an elevator shaft or other hoisting area while the area is being used for hoisting. Kind of makes sense at that point. Okay. Nuno. Luso Roofing. Sutton Group. www.lusoroofing.com. info@lusoroofing.com. And also reach out to him on his real estate page. NTORRES @royallepage.com. And on Instagram. Is that right?
Sutton.com. I wrote that wrong. I used to work for Royal LePage.
Oh, wait, Sutton. Oh, it's okay. That's what it is. It's Sutton. Sorry about that. That's right. Yeah. Okay. And then Facebook and Instagram is Luso_roofing. Does your dad complain about anything in the industry? Does he have a bone to pick?
Well, it's all it's all about like the run and gunners, right?
That's all it is. Nobody take pride anymore.
Everybody wants to do things quick, quick in and out. That's what his thing. And then safety is another thing. Like.
You guys have a risky trade, man.
Yeah, so like he'll see some folks like my dad's over safe, but like doesn't matter. Yeah, he should be.
Which is under.
We've had incidents before, like things happen with employees, but it doesn't matter how like you can control in general. But sometimes when you're really comfortable, two things can happen, right? It's like so.
Takes a split second, man.
Yeah. So one thing he does is when he puts the ladder. It's kind of like he always ties up on the eavesdrop on the bracket, or if there's the leaf guards, he'll take out the leaf
and he'll
guard.
actually get the anchor.
Yeah, like he'll tie it so it doesn't go like this.
Smart.
And then, like even the middle part, where the extension goes like that.
Yeah.
Like he ties that too. I don't know why he does it. He thinks it's gonna like I've seen it like on maybe a painter's ladder, like extender ladder, small ones, a wet deck, and it goes. I think he just does that for like his own sake. He just does it because it doesn't cost.
What's he do on the bottom, on the base of it? Does he do anything?
It's both of us, right?
Yeah.
So it's I'm holding it for him when it's not tied up.
Yeah.
So like when we first start, it's always two guys.
Of course.
So customers, when they understand when you're hiring a pro, like it's always nice when it's two guys because the safety is always there, right? Two guys, one guy's holding, especially two stories, 3 stories. You always need two guys, right? So.
I don't like seeing like there's some tall homes and you start seeing the guys have the proper ladder even though it's fully extended and they may have that 3 feet on the top part. Yeah. But that ladder's got such a belly on it. It makes me nervous and it just makes me think that ladder may be too old or it's been worn out and maybe needs to be replaced. But I hate seeing that like a curved ladder.
I saw one with a curve the other day. It was bad. I should have took a picture. It was bad.
It just makes
it would look like it was broken.
Yeah, it just makes me. Yeah. And I mean, I'll be honest. I still get a chuckle out of a lot of people on social media doing stupid things with ladders and then just creating destruction, bouncing around and I'm talking about homeowners, not professionals, so to speak. But I won't even get into the Chinese or the Indian videos that we see all over the place that are just ladders on top of crane buckets on top of this on top of that with like that kind of stuff, right?
Or the ice dams and then they knock the ice dam and fix everything.
I think we could touch about everything, or like, is there anything that we missed or something, or no?
I think we got everything. But in terms of another thing that I would say that like really cheeses them off as well is, like I said, you mentioned it. It's like not replacing everything and doing everything properly, right? That's the thing. It's the shortcuts. It's not changing the flashings, not changing the vent, like all that stuff. Not doing proper woodwork. I think that's a thing that like really when he sees it, like the problem is for him, like, or us, it's good because we're always fixing other, and like I would say 99.9, it's always other people's problems. Like I had only time we ever fixed our own stuff, not to toot my own horn, is like, for example, I don't want to name brands because I don't want to get sued.
No,
of course, there's a certain brand, and it's a very popular brand in Canada, and like the tabs would break. So like we hand nail, but the shingle doesn't fly off. So my customer called me, oh, the neighbor saw it when your roof's and the tabs break, because the glue, they didn't have enough glue, so they would lose its glue.
It
didn't do its job, and so they would send the rep out. You know, we've been doing this product for a while and whatever, and the rep wouldn't even go on top of the roof.
Well, I wouldn't speak to the rep at that point. How can you assess something if you're not looking at it?
Yeah.
Or do they pull out the binoculars?
So you know what we had to do? They didn't even show up.
Really?
Yeah, not even binoculars. So what we had to do is
I would just tell them there's a cardinal in that tree if you want to look at that.
Yeah,
just like binoculars.
The good thing was the client, she was a smart lady, and she just said, "Listen, guys, I see the way you guys work. I know, and whatever. I'll pay you guys to seal all them up. Like the ones that are loose, put a dab of caulking on them," and that's what we did. Even with the direct windstorm after, nothing. Maybe it was just a few of them that got loose.
At that point, you guys are a shingle manufacturer. If you're sealing and adding more caulking to make it properly, right?
There's a thing, like there's shingle I don't know, like in your industry, there's manufacturers and then there's trade, like people that know their stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Like I see a certain brand, the way they tell me to do shingles, and to me doesn't even make sense. And this is like posted on a pamphlet, on the bundle. It's like the nail shouldn't be beside the butt joint. If you do 10, 20, 30, and then obviously full shingle 40 offset, if you do a pattern of 1, 12, 12 and 1, it's going to come very close to those. And that's why we know, like I was going back to that thing, is like when we fix problems and the nail's overdriven and
that's
it's near the butt joint,
water
gets into the butt joint in between the shingles and it gets in there, and then the person has a roof leak. And so that's what I'm saying, like there's levels.
The new guys just taught a faster way to do it, and they just are saying, here, move on. Here, move on.
Yeah, they don't place
there's
right
thought
places
behind that. Here. You know what I mean? It's not just
there's guys that are good.
Yeah,
they take their time and they're good. There's a lot of good contractors out there. I know you have some friends. I have. He's my friend as well. He's good. He's very good. He's Portuguese, half Portuguese. He's good.
Won't fault him for the other half. I know.
Yeah. So there's good guys, and he's not installing, but like he has guys, and they do a great job.
Yeah.
And then there's other guys that, there's some guys that, even if they don't even run the company, like they just go and oh man, the stuff that I see is
just machine, and then you're not sure how. Like, I mean, do you ever tell your clients that wear and tear based on location of your house and sun exposure?
Yeah.
They got to understand that, okay, fine, a manufacturer's saying that the roof is going to last this long, but not all four sides, if it's a four-side roof or whatever, right? You got to educate them and let them know about that.
Always let them know. I also let them know, like, okay, let's say it comes with a 25-year warranty, expect like 20.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I had one client, Vincent, in Woodbridge. We did his roof, like, I was about 18 years ago. It looks like it's a 25-year shingle. It looks like he still has 10 years. We did a roof maintenance. Whereas another client, it lasted like 15 years. Didn't last very long. And it's like a different batch or whatever of shingles. And then you're right. The south side tends to go a little bit quicker.
But you brought up a good point right there, is the roof maintenance. Don't be afraid as a homeowner to reach out to a good roofer that you know of, if it's even the roofer that actually did the roof, and get them to come back in 10 or 15 years and go on the roof and take a peek at it. Just at the flashing.
After 10 years.
Yeah, just take a look at it and see, okay, maybe it needs another tube of caulking. We just got to repass this. Or maybe there's some nails, or maybe there is a flip shingle. We don't know, right?
It saves you a lot of money, especially inside, because then you got to pay for roof repairs and you got to pay for inside repairs.
What do you want? You want that horizontal toilet or tornado coming by, and all of a sudden it does major damage when you guys could have prevented it from some maintenance, right?
Especially just rain, right? Just regular
rain. All it is.
There's a lot of rain and that's it, right? Your house is protected, right?
I keep going that it's just homeowners should not hire the cheapest. You've got your entire home, everything, possession, people, pets, all underneath this thing, man. Why hire the cheapest? Why do the cheapest?
Sometimes though, Manny, and in general rule, that's what it is. 100%. I agree with you. And sometimes there's that small percentage too.
I know.
They'll pay a lot of money and they get screwed.
They're on TV. All right. So let's do the 12 questions of construction. You ready for this?
Sure. Yeah.
It's not a test. Don't worry. What is your favorite construction word?
I'd say, does it have to be like, English?
No.
Oh, like Portuguese, they would say "Vida, vida, let's go, let's go." Like, let's go.
No, man, this could be in any language, man.
Vida, vida.
What is your least favorite construction word?
I'd say least favorite. It's hard to think. I didn't think of this one before.
I sent this to you, didn't I?
You did. And
I'm trying to think if I might see now. I'm pretty sure I sent it to everybody. Yeah.
So I say like least construction word. I would say like I would say the most favorite would be Vita Vita, but also when you're being pressured to go quick is another like let's go and whatever. Because I can't think of the top of my head, but
yeah,
just like when you're pressured to go, like that's my word.
Well, that makes sense, man.
Yeah, let's go.
What turns you on in construction?
I like the old school stuff, old timber stuff, old wood. Like you see those YouTube videos where the
old craftsman,
the guy's like doing the drywall and he has a drywall hatchet and he's just doing the round corners and like hand nailing, old school
way of doing things,
old school roofing.
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. What turns you off in construction?
The speed, like just quick.
Speed kills. It just doesn't make any sense, man. Yeah. Speed just makes you come back to the job site to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's like everybody's like, how fast? Oh, I did this in 3 days. Like I did like 500 bundles in 3 days. Like I don't care. Like it's just speed.
What is your favorite curse word? Anything. Could be in any language.
For this.
There we go. That's expressed a few times. What is your favorite vehicle? Anything in the world?
So favorite vehicle that I don't have, but I'd like to have, it would be like just a regular like truck, like a GMC 150, a Ram 150. Obviously there's like the, big, very expensive lines, but just basic.
Just a basic truck.
Basic truck with that, you can trail stuff, trailer, that's it. No Ferraris, nothing fancy.
Good, and everybody doesn't. I'm not expecting Ferraris or Lambos. There's a lot of guys that'll talk. Yeah, they'll talk about that. What's your least favorite vehicle?
Least feet? I would say Audi.
Anything Audi?
Anything Audi. And I'll tell you why I'm biased.
Why?
Because Audi drivers out there and is biased. One guy told me this, and I heard it somewhere. He's like, Audi drivers are so aggressive. And then I don't know why I'm out on the road, and not all of them, but I've noticed they're a little bit more aggressive than non-Audi drivers. It's very super. You might be an Audi driver. You never know.
I'm not an Audi driver. I did own an Audi once, and their customer service sucks.
Yeah.
And then I don't like any Audis now because they have that futuristic, stupid turning signal thing. That it's like a flash, and the other light is like a Knight Rider thing or whatever it is. Yeah. I can't stand that, man. I'm like, I'm not in the future. I just like. Give me a blinker. That's all I want, man. So, well. What construction sound or noise do you love?
I like the old school, like the hatchet, when you're just going. I like old school.
What tool belt you wearing then?
So I have, what is it, Cunny?
Really,
Cunny?
Huh?
Yeah, so I have the Cunny on both sides.
And what does your dad have?
He has Cunny as well.
You got a Cunny as well.
You got like regular Cunny knee pads.
You know who runs or owns Cunny now?
No.
Snickers.
Oh, yeah? I don't know.
They bought them out a few years ago. I like Cunny. They're a good brand.
There's a lot of tool belts. I use like suspenders. I like to have suspenders on just to support. Like
starts to eat away at the lower back. I know.
Yeah, it's just go, because then you'd have all the nails and stuff. So I like that. But I know there's like, at Atlas they have like all the full line of stuff. But
sometimes you don't need that. That's all it is. I agree.
And I think you were once repping one of those like vests.
It was a Snickers, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Snickers, right? And then it has the pouch, and I got one of those. But
You
it's
got
like,
one of those?
yeah, I got it, and it's like in my basement while I'm doing my basement rentals, and I just put it on for that. But I'm like, I'm going back to my rentals next winter when my roofing season's over.
But that vest is actually very useful, man. It's very good. I know.
No, I like it.
I got a few trim guys on it, even a painter on it. Like they're like, this makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah.
It's a little pricey. I think.
It is pricey, but
or something like that.
But like for my trade, I can't go around in my car with it because like but
it's
cool.
easy to take off.
I think I saw you with it.
Yeah, it's easy to take off, man. That's why I like it. Where were we at? Where the hell were we? What construction sound or noise do you love or hate? No, hate.
No, I think I said hate, right?
Hate or what? He answered that one already?
Oh no.
What construction sound do you love? Oh no, you love the hatchet sound.
Yeah.
What constructions? Oh, it's so late. What construction sound or noise do you hate?
I think like when the saw goes.
What do you mean?
In the neighborhood, you have like that regular weekender guy that he's like cutting the concrete and he's around the corner and he's not even. It's also the sound and it's also the dust. Like those two things, just it's like
bad.
It's
bad. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Like I said, carpentry or landscaping. I like gardening, so
nice.
That's cool.
What profession would you not like to do?
Roofing, no. Some days, yeah.
Hey, some guys have expressed that.
A profession that I wouldn't like to do, gutter cleaning. Even though I do it for my trade sometimes, gutter cleaning is annoying. You get that like pigeon crab sometimes and raccoons.
You get all kinds of stuff that just stays there because the gutters are they're not sloped correctly.
Yeah.
So then it just.
So I would say like being a gutter cleaner is pretty
pain.
A dirty job.
Last question: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Who'd you help on your way to get here?
It's a nice one. I like that. Nuno, thanks very much, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I know you were a little nervous about coming on the show.
I was a little bit, yeah.
You're all good, man.
But you're cool. You make me comfortable.
I know what you go through, man. I have a lot of respect for all the trades. I've literally done every single job. Would I do it more than once? No, not every single job, but I have a lot of respect for every single job that's done in construction.
Yeah, I also want to say, like, I don't know if you knew I would follow you on social media back in the day. I would see you you would be running in the morning and you'd be cycling and then you would pump Manny motivational Mondays or something. I don't know what it was, but I'd be watching. I'm like, oh, this is solid.
Who's this idiot, man?
I loved it though. It's like, growth.
Thanks, man.
It's growth. I loved it. Right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks, dude. Yeah. Everyone, reach out to him if you need a roofer. But you guys are going to stop soon, right? With the weather changing.
No, we work all winter. So we do maintenance, repairs, emergencies, restoration. We don't shingle in the winter unless it's like something small or emergency, but we don't.
And it's a nice warm spell and
something. Stick. Yeah. It has to be really warm because shingles, like even manufacturers don't warrant shingles 8 degrees or below, right, or 5.
Every manufacturer says that.
They're a little bit different. Some say
depends.
8, some say 5.
Yeah.
But look it up. Look at a GAF or certain companies.
So basically read the instructions that are on the bundle right there. It tells you then and there.
It should be there.
If not, there should be a QR code on it that actually redirects you to where that information is shared.
If you have to do it, then do it because your house is collapsing, basically, your roof. But yeah.
Everyone reach out, www.lusoroofing.com, info@lusoroofing.com, and then on Instagram and Facebook, Luso_roofing. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead, shoot.
So I just want to say I'm blessed to have my wife and my kids. I know you're going to watch this on YouTube eventually. And you said you would, so I just want to say this at the end. I love you guys.
Should have said it at the beginning.
I should, but I just remember because we just got into flow, right?
I know, we just got to talking about that. No, so it's good. Well, they'll have to watch the whole show note, right?
Yeah. My daughter Chelsea, she
knows all about it.
She was watching. She said, "I like this guy. I like this show."
Oh, now I got to watch my language. How old is she?
She's 9, but we don't censor.
But certain words have been expressed.
That's okay. She's around the Portuguese household.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Man.
Thank you, Angelina. We are out of here.